When talking about chronic constipation, when we look at the model here, here's where the food goes in, and then a bunch of stuff happens, and then that's where the poop comes out. Why won't the poop come out? So this is a problem that a lot of people deal with, major constipation for years or even a lifetime. And the advice in the mainstream is flat out horrible. It's just offensive. And when you understand how this really works, you're going to be upset that no one has ever explained this to you before. Because basically the advice out there is what fiber should I use or what probiotic. And that's pretty much all there is to offer. And the truth is that both of those things can be a little bit helpful, but they're a very small part of the puzzle. So they can help when you look at everything, but very rarely are either of those things enough to solve the problem. Most people that are dealing with chronic constipation deal with it consistently and for a very extended period of time. You may have even had a doctor tell you that, well, some people just poop less than other people and it's normal, so don't worry about it. Well, it appears that in the medical world that a lot of times when something is common, that it is assumed to be normal and just okay. But constipation is not normal and it's not okay and it should be corrected. So maybe you should ask your doctor if he would accept erectile dysfunction in himself, since that's normal at his age. He may change his tune a little bit. So we want to fix this. And not only can you fix this, we hear from people every single day that have been dealing with this for decades and they have fixed it. But you should fix it. Because there's a reason that we poop. We poop to get rid of toxins, to get rid of waste. And when those toxins can't be removed, now it becomes a burden that the body has to deal with. And the body does have backup systems. It has tricks in its sleeve that it can use, but they're not tricks that you like. You know, toxins can be stored in fat cells so that they don't cause trouble in the bloodstream. They kind of become inert in a fat cell, so just shove it in there for safekeeping. The body can push toxins out through the skin and create breakouts and skin issues. So you don't want that to happen. You want to poop. So let's look at a few things to understand why this is troublesome for some people. Because if you can understand the science behind it, then you can figure out what your cause is. There is no single cause for constipation, but I'm going to explain the two most common causes that if you can fix those, will usually help most people be able to poop like a champion. So the important thing to understand is that the stool moves at the speed of its acidity level. Now, to understand digestion, we eat something, it comes into the stomach here, and in this stomach we create acid. It's hydrochloric acid is what it's called, and that's used to break down our food. Usually people just hear about acid when they're talking about reflux and, oh, I have too much acid, and that's what the pharmaceutical companies tell us in their commercials. But the truth is that reflux is caused by not enough acid. So there's not enough acid to trigger this valve. So if you're dealing with reflux issues, we have a reflux and GERD podcast episode that you should listen to fully understand that. Just know that reflux does not come by having more acid. It's by not having enough in almost all cases. So once this food is acidified here, it leaves the stomach and goes into the duodenum, which is the first 7-10 inches of the small intestines. And there, in this gallbladder that's right under the liver here, where bile has been stored, the bile drops onto that acid product and neutralizes it. And it kind of creates this acid against alkaline collision where the food can sizzle and really break apart and we pull all the nutrients out of our food. So when that happens, now the stool is neutralized. It's not too acid, but it's not too alkaline. And it can move at a good pace through the intestinal tract and we poop and it's awesome. Now the problem comes when our stomach isn't making enough acid. And this is very common for a lot of reasons. We need resources and minerals to be able to make that acid, and if you can't make the acid, you can't pull minerals out of your food. It kind of becomes this catch-22 situation that can perpetuate for a lifetime. So if we're not making enough acid, now as this product meets the bile, it becomes too alkaline and it will move through the system slower. So you may have been told that you just have slow motility, or you don't have great peristalsis, which is the action of everything moving through your intestinal tract and through your colon. But the reason that you have slow motility or peristalsis is slow is usually because the product is not acidic enough. So the body is not in a hurry for it to move through the system. It gets backed up, slows down, and we can't poop. So that's one of the major causes. So what we teach people to do is we teach people how to introduce HCl supplementation so they can have the correct acid level in the stomach to break down their food properly, and then that stool will be acidic enough to move through the intestinal tract and through the colon and out the back door like it's supposed to. So that's a problem that we see in at least half of the chronic constipation cases. The other common issue has to deal with your body at the cellular level. And what happens is at night we move into a more anabolic state where the cells kind of close up and the tissues rebuild and repair and we sleep and rest. During the day we move into a more catabolic state where the cells are more permeable, they're more open, and this helps us have energy to get through the day and kind of where things break down, like muscles, tissue breaks down so it can be rebuilt. But the problem is in these states, the body sends more water to different places. In an anabolic state, the body sends more water through the kidneys and we pee the water out. In a more catabolic state, the body sends more water to the colon. So both states are appropriate. We're supposed to move back and forth from day to night. The problem occurs that a lot of people will get stuck in one of these states most of the time. It's very common for someone to get stuck in an overly anabolic state. And when we see someone dealing with chronic constipation, they're almost always in this overly anabolic state. And what's happening is the body is pushing most of the water through the kidneys and not enough through the colon. So when this food makes it to the large intestine, since there's not enough water being sent there, it kind of dries up and it becomes harder. And then that's harder for it to move. And when you do have a bowel movement, woohoo, you may find that it's a very hard stool. So that's kind of usually one of the causes is there's not enough moisture there. The body's not sending enough water there. Another problem could be that you're not drinking enough water. Water's got to go in for the body to be able to send it to the right place. But drinking more water may not be the answer because you may not qualify. A lot of people don't have enough minerals, and they kind of find, maybe even just subconsciously, that when they drink enough water, they wash out the little minerals that they have, and then they feel lousy and depressed and tired. So you may need to take steps to increase your mineral level, and we teach people how to do that in our free 4-week digestion course on kickitinthenuts.com. So just know that drinking more water may not be all you have to do. You may need to take other steps, but it can be an initial step. We also teach people how to use supplements to help move them less anabolic. You can eat certain foods and certain fats to kind of move you less anabolic, so the body will start shifting where it's sending most of its water. We also use supplements like ascorbic acid that can help acidify the stool a little bit and help it move a little easier. And we teach people how to fix their digestion so that there's enough acid in that food so that it can move properly. So listen to the podcast episode below on constipation in the player below, and get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. It's almost an hour show, so you get a lot more details, and it'll give you an idea of what steps you may need to take. You can also take the free 4-week digestion course, and there we teach you how to look at some questions to figure out what might be going wrong with your digestion. And we teach you how to run simple tests that you can do at home on your own physiology to maybe get a better idea of how your body is operating and what steps may help improve your digestion. So below that, I'll also put some of the supplements that we use, and most of them you can find at your local health food store. And I'll talk a little bit about how we use them. But if you can take the steps that are right for you, you will be able to fix the problem and you're going to be able to poop like a champion. So listen to the show. If you find some information that's helpful, help us out and go to iTunes and leave us a review. That helps us spread the word a lot. And then once you look at your own physiology in the 4-week course, you'll know for sure what steps are going to help move you in the right direction the fastest so that you can start seeing results.